How's it going, guys? So once again, we're back with another video that I did not really intend on making today, but as I was doing some research and kind of getting my thoughts together for a World of Warcraft video that I was going to be making about the story and where I think it's gone wrong, I came across quite a few forums kind of having very similar complaints than I did. And I didn't want to just like kind of be in an echo chamber, so I started looking around. I'm noticing the same sentiment in a lot of places, and as you can tell from the title of this video, is that it seems like, do men, I guess the question is, do men hate female characters in video games? And I think it's a pretty nuanced answer, but I think the answer ultimately boils down to no. I think there's a lot more into that, so let's get right into it. So first off, I'll say no, I don't think men hate females in video games. I think men hate poorly written females in video games, and the emphasis there is on the really poorly written. I think there's also that kind of goes in conjunction with an overwhelming presence now of poorly written males in video games too, and that's going to kind of factor into the equation a little later on, even more so when we talk about how poorly written females can affect poorly written males. So it's just a whole lot of bad writing, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that we were spoiled in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, maybe early 2010s with really well written characters. If you look at the original Warcraft characters with Arthas and Jaina and Thrall, and when Warcraft was like really on the up and up, and when like a lot of video games were really good with Halo, with Gears of War, Prince of Persia, countless other really well handled, really well designed, and really well written video games and characters. Now, I think a big issue comes from, I will say it, I know it's a buzzword now, and I don't really like to use buzzwords, but like this new diversity metric we're seeing within a lot of companies, companies like Amazon, companies like Blizzard, where diversity has become a new quota. Yeah, I mean, that's the best way I could put it. Diversity has become where like we need X amount of this gender, X amount of this sex, X amount of this sexuality, X amount of undetermined sexuality, non-binary, whatever the case may be. And I mean, I'm sure everyone who's watching this video has heard this 100 times, whether you agree with it or don't, but it is my opinion that if you are ever hiring based on skin color, sexuality, gender, whatever, that is discrimination. Like, even if you have good intentions, they say like the worst actions are made with the best intentions. And that, I get like your intentions. You want to make sure everyone has an equal opportunity and all that. And I totally understand, but it is 100% still discrimination. And not only is it morally wrong because it is discrimination, but it also leads to a worse product. Because you are not hiring, think about like, oh man, think about if you're a company and you have the option of hiring, we'll say the equivalent of modern day Tolkien. Or you can hire, I'm just going to be like blunt about this, like a black lesbian. And your company says, well, this guy's a really good writer. True. But we really need the diversity. So we're going to go with the unqualified or less qualified, diverse option. Think about how much your product would suffer because of that. Maybe she's like an okay writer, but she like Tolkien is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. But because of your diversity metrics, you didn't hire the best person for the job, and your product will suffer because of that. And your company will ultimately lose money. Even if they make a profit off the product, they lost the potential money that was there. So I think that's a problem. And I think that not only is the diversity messing up the product in the sense of not hiring the best people for the job, I think diversity has become an like all-inclusive mindset. Where not only do we need to hire diverse peoples, we have to tell super diverse stories, and every story has to be diverse. When you think of diversity, what do you think of? You think not white man. I mean, let's just be 100% honest. Hey, I'm not even offended by it. I'm the white dude here. So I get it. Like, when you think of diversity in America, which is where the majority of these games are made, you think not a white dude. That is exactly what you, and it, by God, you definitely mean not a straight white dude. a gay white dude, we can maybe get behind that. That's maybe diverse enough. We'll talk about it. Even that's getting a little like maybe not quite diverse enough anymore. But we're talking about not a white dude. And so that's already, like we talked about, morally wrong. It's kind of discriminatory, but you're writing a story, so you can write your story with whatever characters you want to. That's fine. I think the problem is we've evolved to the next level of degeneracy in these stories. And what is the next level of degeneracy in these stories? Well, the next level of degeneracy is it's not enough not to include these people, like straight white dudes in general. Now our stories need to be about like taking them down a peg. Our stories need to be about like sticking it to the man, you know what I mean? Which is, it's kind of an old mindset, but it's like been reshaped into like a newer, it's like like the evolved version of a rebellious teen. You get this a lot, especially with female characters and how they're written in conjunction with with male characters. Sorry, all the diversity stuff just scattering around in my brain right now. And it feels like oftentimes female characters are written to bring down male characters instead of being written in a synergistic way to where both characters' best properties are brought out. Both their best characteristics of each character is brought out. A couple examples I can probably give off the top of my head. So, I was getting ready to make a World of Warcraft video. I genuinely believe that in the new expansion, there are countless examples of female character stories being written with the sole purpose of, like, their whole storyline is essentially, I'm an underappreciated female character and there's a male character above me, and now I've got to show that they're stupid or incompetent or they're not good enough or my ideas are better, and eventually I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take over and now I'm in charge. And so, like, and even some of these like male characters were like pretty good characters, but they are made to look like completely incompetent fools in order to prop up that female character. Another good example, Avengers Endgame. This one still sticks out in my head because it just sounded like such a screw. It felt like such a screw you to like Spider-Man. They've been fighting the battle with Thanos and everything, and then what's her name? Captain Marvel, I think, like flies down. And she takes the glove from Spider-Man and she's like, I'll take that. And then like basically flies off. And I know it was supposed to be like a haha moment or whatever, but it really, like, as a viewer, came across to me as like these dudes have been fighting all this time and you're just gonna like fucking Mary Sue in here, take it and try to, like, I know she wasn't the one who ended up killing Thanos and all that, but even they were like, oh, she was the only one who could have, and like she, like, they had that whole little altercation. So if you look at it like that, like she's the only one who stood like toe to toe with Thanos, and she's the, she takes the gauntlet away from Spider-Man. She's like, give me that, boy, basically. And then she, like, all, like, everyone's been struggling with Thanos for 2 full movies, and she just like walks up and almost one-shots him. And then Scarlet Witch almost does the exact same thing. So we have 2 female characters that in an instant basically undermined all of the male characters and said, yeah, you guys suck. We're way better. We're way stronger. And so that's how it's like not synergistic, because you've got like a good idea with the female superhero, in conjunction with these male superheroes and working, together. But why wouldn't you want those female characters right there in the struggle with these male characters? Why do I see time and time again where the male characters go through the struggle and go through like the hardship just for a female character to like Deus Ex Machina her way in, and Deus Ex, to Ex Machina in, and like, now I'm the best. I'm just the best now, and I always have been. And it feels really cheap. It feels like the female character is being written against the male characters. And those are 2 examples I can think of off the top of my head. There are plenty of ways to write really, really good female characters. I thought Sylvanas Windrunner was really good female character. Back in the day, Jaina Proudmoore, especially when like her storyline, when her and Garrosh were like mortal enemies, super good storyline. Ripley from Aliens, super good storyline. There are countless examples of really good female leads, strong female characters. that are very well known. And so I feel like it's just like lazy diversity writing. How do I make a diverse story? Oh, I make the minority make the majority look bad. I make the chick make the dude look bad. I make the, you know, the minority group, we'll just say, you know, like the Arab or the black person or whatever, make the white dude look bad. And that's just super lazy and like just rude storytelling, in my opinion. I think that's why we see these not do very well. I mean, it really doesn't. A good example of something that I don't think is the worst thing, I just think it was a really bad decision made with the sole intention of diversity, was having, you know, when the actor for Black Panther died, having the chick take over as Black Panther rather than having the dude from the first movie come back. I think that was just, I'm drawing a blank on all the names right now, but I think that was just a terrible move. And they were like, well, it's better to have a black female than it is to go get another dude. And that's what it's like with these diversity groups. It's like no one's ever safe, because like eventually you won't be diverse enough. I was kind of hinting at that at the beginning. Like I feel like gay white guys are not even diverse enough anymore. Now it's just like, you know, it was good back then, but now, yeah, you're still white. So it's just like, you don't really make the cut anymore. But yeah, so moving on, I think there's some common tropes we do see with how these female characters are poorly written, and the reason that you see a lot of, I mean, and I'm not like, when I said I was doing research, I mean, I can only go off what they say on the forum, right? If they say they're a chick, they're a chick. It could be a dude lying. Like, I have no idea. I have no way to know. I see a female avatar. I see, you know, you'd say I'm a chick. Okay, I believe you. But so back to my point, it's not just dudes. This is not just a bunch of like white guys that are mad about it. And that's what people will say. Like, that's the gaslighting I'm kind of noticing as well. Someone's like, oh, you're just, look at all these weak white men that are so upset about this. Like, look at this, you know, look at these fragile, you know, masculine dudes that are just so, you know, fragile about this. It's like, it's not people being fragile about anything. It's about people want good stories. People are paying $70 to $120 for these video games. People want to get their money's worth. And on top of that, take the monetary portion out of it. People just want to be told a good story. I mean, we have since the dawn of time, since we were sitting around campfires, before we had movies, cinema, video games, books, whatever. Stories have been told forever. It's a human nature to love storytelling. And so when we're being told shit stories time and time again, you're like, damn, you know, how did I grow up with Lord of the Rings, with Harry Potter, with, you know, all these great franchises, you know, with Warcraft, with StarCraft, with Gears of War, with Halo, with, you know, Duke Nukem even. I mean, that's a funny one, but I mean, like, how is Duke Nukem better than most modern stories? It just doesn't make any sense. But I'm getting off topic. Let's get back on topic. So some of the tropes. So I've got a couple of them written down here. One trope you'll see is the old stubborn male character is outshined by the female apprentice and inevitably, you know, retires or dies or gives his life's work up to her so she can do it better. And that's like, you see how the female is like written against the male. Like, she's the apprentice and she's like, I've got these better ideas, and he just won't listen, and and eventually she's right and she gets the whole business. You see that in the new expansion. You see that all over media. Another one, you have strong male character gets beaten badly so female character can take over as the main character. You see that quite often as well, where, you know, basically the male character just gets like one shot, gets beat up bad, you know, something happens, and essentially the female character now takes over and goes on to save the day. Usually gets a power boost like out of nowhere at the same time. You see that in the new expansion as well. Male characters being written. Oh, okay. Yeah. Male characters written to be super delicate or sensitive in order to boost up the stronger female character. This is a newer one that I am still seeing a lot. I'm giving, and these are all examples I'm giving you straight out of the new WoW expansion, and there's even more. Another one I could give you is like with the earthen dwarves, or no, maybe they're not the earthen, whatever they are. You had the main male dwarf who's like, I have to protect everybody. And then the female dwarfs, like, they kind of have like this like rivalry. She's like, oh, you know, there's like obviously some history there. She's like, oh, you're not good. You know, you're not doing it right. Then he ends up sacrificing himself to save a bunch of people. And now she's the new leader. Like I'm going to be honest. It's like World of Girlcraft now. It's crazy. Like everywhere you turn, You know, the raid boss is a female. The end boss Zalatath is a female. Whoever's pulling the strings behind her is probably a female. Now we've got a new, I think they're just trying to like replace Sylvanas, but we've got, you know, a new Windrunner who basically is the main character. Anduin is basically being dragged around on a leash by the one-armed female character. And, you know, Anduin, I feel like has gotten, you know, just screwed over like 4 or 5 expansions in a row of just being this like little boy shitty character, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like he deserve, like I feel like by this point he should be like his dad was in like Legion, where he's like fighting, you know, like I get like have the character go through these like tough times and like get kind of beat up, get kind of scarred. You know, he's had a couple expansions do this, and now like he's still just on the sidelines, like not doing anything. Anyway, Thrall's, I don't want to get too specific in a while because it's supposed to be more of a broad video than that. But those are just like some fresh examples I can give you, and why I'm just like so disappointed in the state of WoW, especially because the gameplay in WoW is so good right now, but the story is just not. Another main problem, I guess I'll say, is that masculine characters don't exist very much in media now. And then when you have like sequels and remakes of everything, a lot of these sequels and remakes end up retconning or ruining what were once really good masculine characters. Star Wars, everybody knows that is an example right now. World of Warcraft, you know, like Thrall used to be like the super badass dude, and now he just doesn't do anything. You know, Anduin could have been the super badass dude, and he doesn't do anything. Khadgar, you know, the strongest mage fucking ever, and now he's, you know, being replaced by a teenage emo girl. And so it's just like, I know she's not actually a teenager, she just acts like one. You see this all over movies and games. It's like they want to remake something, but they got to diversify it. And you can go really in depth in this. You can talk about the Little Mermaid, you can talk about race swapping, you can talk about sex swapping, you can talk about all these changes, and people don't even like that. And another big change that they make is taking what were once really strong, good characters and just turning them into really bad characters. And people don't like that. That was me, not you, if you heard that. People don't like that. And I think we really need to see 2 things happen for this to get changed. One, we need to see a shift away from diversity quotas. I think diversity is great. I think naturally occurring diversity is a wonderful thing. I think everything you see on Twitter and everything you see, every time you see people online talking about diversity, I think that's purely theatrical. I don't think those people actually care about diversity. They care about looking like they care about diversity. I think if you actually care about diversity, you fight things like that with your vote. You fight things like that with your wallet. You donate to funds that help low income and poverty stricken areas. You donate to your education system. You get involved into your community. You get involved with minorities in your community. There's 100 different things you can do to actually make a difference. You going on Twitter bitching about wanting diversity is not you caring about diversity. It's just purely not. You genuinely don't care about diversity. Saying I'm gonna hire 20 black people it's not caring about diversity. It's just discrimination. And that's what it is. And the other thing that people, I can't believe I'm having to like even say this out loud. Maybe this is more of a venting video than anything, but whatever. If you hire 20, well, I'm just the most known minority in America. If you hire 20 black people and say, look at how diverse I am because I didn't hire any white people, you're not diverse. You just only have black people now. And it's crazy because this has happened. This has literally happened where companies refuse to hire certain races. And it's like, how is that not? Anyway, the whole race, male, female, it's all very tightly knit together in a nuanced way because it all pretty much leads to the same end result. And that's bad storytelling. It's aggressive storytelling. And what I mean by aggressive is you're tearing down another gender, tearing down another race to try to boost your character based on, you know, on the Bible of diversity. And it just doesn't lead to good stories. And so we need to see, back to what I was saying, we need to see 2 things. We need to see a a change in mindset to get away from diversity being the number one thing we look at, and we need to get a resurgence of talented writers. I don't know if there's been too much nepotism in the industry potentially. I don't know if the bar for entry is just too low. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure how you get a job as a writer for Blizzard or Square Enix or whatever. But I think the bar has just been way too low based on the results we've seen. And I would love, and this is for cinema too, I would love to see a resurgence of really, really good storytelling. And those two things need to happen for games overall to get good again. There's obviously still good games. Space Marine 2 was a good game. There have been good games. You obviously have like anything from Soft Touches, really. And I'll even say things like a great example, Horizon Zero Dawn is a good game, and her Forbidden West is a good game with a strong female lead who doesn't come across as like social justicey. And I think, and she doesn't come across as like just wanting to tear down men. There's a very strong male character in the first game, and not her dad, but the guy who like adopted her or whatever. And like, he's a great male character. She doesn't have to tear him down. He passes away. I believe he's like saving her life when he dies. It's been years, but like, that's a great way to write synergistic characters. I don't want to ramble on too long in this video. I think I've gotten my point across. It's already way longer than I thought it was going to be. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you agree, if you think I'm wrong and I'm just a fragile white dude, let me know in the comments down below too. Love to argue with you about it for a little bit. But anyways, that's all I got for today. I'm Kamari. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.